At 26, Adrian felt the weight of his choices pressing down on him like an anchor. $10,000 in credit card debt and $17,000 more in student loans felt like shackles he couldn't break free from. Just a few years ago, he hadn't given much thought to his future. Nights of reckless spending, a short-lived fling with gambling, and impulsive stock trades had left him with little to show for it all except debt. And now, the consequences felt crushing. With a steady job bringing in $60,000 a year, Adrian took home $3,900 monthly, and he was trying to be smarter about money. He'd started saving aggressively, putting aside $1,500 to $1,800 a month in an effort to wipe out his credit card debt, taking advantage of a 0% interest offer that gave him 10 months to pay it off. The student loans at least had a manageable minimum payment of $166 each month, and though the 4 to 5% interest stung, it was something he felt he could handle for now. Still, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was falling behind, that he'd already missed his shot at financial stability. Was it too late? Had he ruined his chance at a secure future? These thoughts gnawed at him late into the night. To keep himself going, he had started seeking advice, reading articles, scrolling through financial forums, and looking for inspiration in other stories. The supportive words from strangers were like a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. He felt a glimmer of hope, a reminder that maybe, just maybe, he could change his course. Determined to make every dollar work harder, Adrian started crafting a new plan. He'd slash Christmas spending, cut back on date nights, and get serious about his budget. His company's 401k match was still part of the equation. He'd keep contributing up to the 3% they'd match, even though it felt like such a small amount. But every little bit mattered. He even started considering taking on a second remote job, something flexible that would allow him to pay down his debt faster. The thought of working 2 jobs was daunting. He pictured himself chained to his desk for long hours, juggling the responsibilities of both positions, sacrificing his weekends, and putting his social life on hold. But he kept coming back to one thought. Was this the only way to fix the mess he'd created? As the months ticked by, Adrian started seeing changes. The credit card balance shrank bit by bit. His student loan balance inched down, and he learned to savor each small victory. He tracked every dollar saved, every payment made. His focus was sharper than ever, his willpower stronger than it had been in years. And even though he sometimes wondered if it was worth it, he held onto the vision of a life free from debt. Then, just as he started to feel a little lighter, a surprise arrived in his inbox. It was his company's end-of-year bonus. The amount was more than he'd expected, a gift from the universe just when he needed it most. He threw the entire bonus at his debt, watching his balance drop like a weight he'd finally managed to lift. As Adrian looked at his progress, he realized something important. The battle with debt was as much a journey of discipline and patience as it was about the money itself. For the first time in years, he felt like he was finally catching up, gaining ground, and rewriting his financial story. His transformation wasn't about luck or a quick fix. It was about grit, and his journey was far from over. But he knew, deep down, he was no longer the reckless young man who'd made those mistakes. He was something better now, a fighter, facing his fears head-on, moving toward a future he'd built with his own hands. And maybe that future was closer than he'd ever dared to believe.